So hi, this is AJ and welcome back to Handyman Process. So the first video I released talked about setting up the business structure, which is really the first step. And as part of that step, we talked about creating your EIN number, your employee identification number. This number is important because at some point you're going to have to set up a business bank account. So any accountant, any CPA that you meet with, and anybody who's been in business is going to tell you that you have to keep your business money separate from your personal money. So that's why it makes the most amount of sense to set up a business bank account right from the get-go. Whatever money you spend on the business, only use that account for that. So as I went through that process, I got online, I saw what some of the other handymen and handywomen were doing, and everybody was saying, oh, use a local bank, a local credit union, which is what I did. I went with a local credit union just up the street, and I thought, oh, great. It was a little bit of a pain actually to set it up. They did a lot of back and forth and paperwork, but I thought, okay, that's what business bank accounts are like. It takes a little bit of time. Plus, they were going to charge me, it was like $5 a month or something. So, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll I'll go ahead and set up this business bank account with this credit union. So I did that and I ran with that for a while. But as I was going through the processes, I just found that it wasn't flexible for me. It wasn't allowing me to keep notes for some of the payments that I was doing. Downloading the statements was a little bit of a pain. And I thought, man, there's got to be something better than this. So I was digging through YouTube and I found an accounting video where somebody was touting this bank called Novo, which I'd never heard of. Um, I'm going to get into this in a minute, but it's one of those newer companies where Novo is not a bank, but it partners with a bank. So it takes an established bank, in this case, Middlesex Bank out of Massachusetts, and it adds a technology layer to it, which makes the banking more usable for people, especially younger folks who like a little bit of more flexibility and creativity with their money. In addition to that, there's a whole bunch of benefits that I'm going to kind of talk about as I walk through this. But actually, I'll just jump right into it and explain the bigger benefits associated with the Novo Bank. So first of all, setting it up. I went straight to the website here, somewhere, get started. I hit the get started button. It's going to ask you for a few things and super easy to set up. It was a fraction of the time that it took me to set up my credit union account. I set up my Novo account. In addition to that, as I went through my first year of a handyman business, and I was listening to the other handymen and women in the business, I heard the term profit first come up a lot. So I went and I got the book Profit First, and I read through it, and the concepts just made sense to me. Kind of as the money comes in, set it aside for certain things. Most importantly, set it aside for taxes. But for every dollar that comes in, you want to have it kind of go to a pre-designated place. It's really going to help you out with your business. I didn't do this when I first started off, and I didn't really know where I was at any given moment. But the nice thing about Novo and other accounts like it is as every dollar revenue comes in, you can automatically spread it out. And you see in the example here, this is actually from the Profit First system. It says, okay, every dollar that comes in, I want you to set aside 30% for operating expenses. These are the things you use for supplies, tools, and whatnot, just to keep the business going. Setting aside a certain amount of money for taxes. That really depends on your tax bracket. And if you read the Profit First system or you talk to your accountant, they'll give you a good amount here to set aside. Owner's compensation. A lot of people don't understand this. How do you pay yourself? Especially if you're a single member LLC. Essentially, every dollar that you make that's not an expense is owner's compensation, even taxes to a certain degree. But you don't want to spend that money because you'll end up owing the IRS later on. But figure out what you need to make a living and start to set that money aside. In this case, we're using 25%. I think personally, I started with 50%. Now I'm using 30 or 40% just because I got hit pretty hard with taxes at the end of the year. I was actually only setting aside 15% for taxes, and I was off with that. And then finally, is setting aside a certain amount for profit. Profit and owner's compensation, if you're a single member LLC, is kind of synonymous. But in this example, if you want to give yourself kind of a bonus at the end of the year, you can set aside a money. The cool thing with Novo is you can go in, you basically establish this. So you establish what your reserves will be, and I think you can have up to 10 different reserves. So let's say you made $1 revenue. You did a job, $1 revenue came in, 15 cents is going to go to profit, 25 cents is going to owner compensation, 30% or 30 cents to taxes, and 30% to operating expenses. And if you multiply that over all the money you make, let's say you make $10,000 a month of revenue, that corresponding percentages would be in those accounts. Now, as you go through the month, things are happening, right? Operating expenses are probably the biggest one. You're incurring costs. So me, I go to Home Depot, I go to Lowe's all the time. I'm buying stuff off of Amazon. So as these expenses are coming in, I'll get notified, hey, a new expense came in, and within the Novo system, a little window will pop up and says, okay, which account or which of these reserves do you want to charge this money against? You go ahead and say operating expense. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and take it out of that reserve. In addition to that, and this is one of the other great features I like about it, it'll allow you to categorize it. When I mean categorize it, it's going to say, is this an advertising expense? Is this materials for cost of goods sold? Is this software? This really, really helps out at the end of the year for taxes. In fact, it helps out so much for me that I don't even use bookkeeping software anymore. I use this and a combination of some Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, and that takes care of my bookkeeping. I kind of know where I am at any given moment, and I can use that. So the system itself right there is fantastic. Same thing with money coming in. You can track everything. You can upload your receipts to this. I can't say enough good things about it. I have on my screen, I have kind of what's going on in my bank account, but I can't figure out how to like hide stuff, so I'm not going to pull up my screen. But I want to let you know that if you're thinking about a business bank account, I would probably recommend coming here to Novo and dig through all this stuff. Dig through all the different things that are available. Go to the help center. Ask people online kind of what they're doing. But if you go through this, let me see. I think the resource center. If you go, no, that's not the one. If you go to the features here, you can kind of start to scroll down and see all the features. Like I mentioned earlier, you can come in here. You can set up your account. It says minutes. It felt even quicker than that. You automatically get some cards associated. I don't run debt in my business. I run everything through debit cards. And I'm not advocating you do that. It's just the way I do it. I don't like to have debt, so everything I do is off a debit card. And if you're new into business, what that means is you're probably gonna have to put some money into the account to kind of get the ball rolling. And then once the ball is rolling, you can extract some money back out. But the Novo card's been fantastic with me. I kind of use it everywhere. It's been great. I haven't done this yet, so I'm planning to make another video talking about invoices and payments and all that stuff. Right now, I'm using Mark8, and I love Mark8 because of its customer relation management software. I hitting the buttons, I'm showing up. Everything kind of is flowing automatically. The downside with Mark8 is once an invoice goes out and gets paid. So let's say I charge somebody $100 and they pay by credit card. So they get a thing that pops up and they go ahead and pay their thing. Then it gets connected over to Square. Square takes its cut, which is I think 2.9% plus 30 cents or 35 cents. Then however many sales you had in whatever their reporting period comes in. So let's say you had 3 invoices within 3 days. Square is just going to send you all of the money you made minus their fees in one lump sum, which then comes into Novo. So when it comes time to like tracking, well, how much money did I make off each individual invoice? You kind of got to go back and look at that stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do that. There's things in here about budgeting and planning things. The integration is really, really cool. There's a ton of apps you can connect with. I connect with Square. I was connected with QuickBooks when I was still doing stuff in there, but can't say enough good things. If you're looking for a business bank account, Novo is a pretty good one to go with. I would highly recommend it. At some point in the future, I give you a bonus if I refer you. I think we both get $40. I don't know how to do that yet. So if you find this useful, you want to leave a comment, I could probably drop it in the comment box. Anyway, again, not affiliated with Novo. I just use it. I love it. And I think if you're trying to set up a business bank account, this might be something for you. So thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed the video.